these extra clauses that everyone suggested and making this a lot prettier. So here, let's just go ahead and put in that graphic. And again, people should be aware. You know, just chime in if there are other things you want to talk about or believe we should be addressing. Go ahead, but I'm just going to use this time, and in real time, hopefully we can, you know, get this into a reasonable shape. Okay, so I think it was in downloads and it was rchain. Okay, there we go. So that helps visualize it. And so what we've added is okay. So people want an IP statement. So I think it's fairly clear. All rchain IP remains all rchain. Let's see. Rchain is an open source project.
Greg?
Yes.
Ian suggested earlier that in that statement we also, you know, make sure that any, you know, blog articles are free to repost and
happening depending because you know everybody's keeping these
more broadly around IP sources.
I couldn't hear you, Ed, because someone else was talking at the same time. Could you just restate that?
Yeah, I was saying, in addition to it's an open source project, be in the scenario, the name, rchain, and everything else to be reused freely.
Oh, okay. So rchain can be reused freely?
Yeah, that's what I suggest. The name and all references, you know, to it in the scenario blog posts, for example.
Okay. So if scenario is claiming, or another project is claiming that they've implemented the rchain architecture, what constitutes diligence that that's the case? How do we know when someone has really done that? If the name can be freely used, which I'm not opposed to at all, I'm just asking for guidance here. How do we know when someone claiming that they've made rchain has actually done so?
Sorry, I had to switch computer devices. I don't know the answer to that. I think of Ethereum, right? And who can use the name Ethereum?
That's very tightly controlled.
Yeah. So should it be similar for rchain? Because yeah, if it's you know, like I think of the Ethereum Foundation as a model of what rchain cooperative could become, and what are the goods and bads about that. And but control of name and control of releases is, you know, one of the things that a quote unquote centralized organization is good for, I think, in this context for a while, until there's, you know, all this, I guess, a community multi-sig approval process or something.
Okay, so how about for now, since I'm not sure that it, how about we wait on this one? Yeah, we don't quite yet have a good.
Yeah, that might mire down the conversation, right?
Okay, all right. So here, I want to put, so this proposal is good for, what we say, 48 hours?
Yeah, I would put a fixed time on the date of this proposal and the expiration, timestamp.
Okay, how about 48 hours from when it is submitted for consideration? And then we can put a timestamp on it at that time.
Yeah, so at the top you could just put, draft of as of today's date, or something like that. These things could get republished a week from now and cause confusion, right?
Agreed. Thank you. Draft 0.1, and then is there an insert date function? Nope, I don't see one. So this is 2nd December 2016, and it is currently 10:07 a.m. EST. Okay.
I've been bored with insert date in Word when it updates the date when I didn't really change anything. And
yeah, but in Google Docs, I don't know that. So I'll make this title. Okay, cool. And then we'll make this one be section 1. What do I do? Section 2. And then the same here. Okay, so now this becomes heading 1. And this is heading 2. Sorry, I just want to knock this formatting out real quick, and then it'll be a little bit easier to parse. Okay, so right, exclusivity of amps. Oh, I'm sorry, heading 2. There should be another heading. Okay, so here I think what we want to say is what I want to say is this: amps will be a token if scenario has a board and a native token. The scenario has a board and reasonable governance model.
So I'm thinking a couple thoughts. That the title exclusivity would maybe be utility of amps on rchain.
Thank you.
And then a native token is for some reason a troubling choice to me, because the way I envision the rchain architecture is that it either supports one primary native token from which all other tokens and currencies are derived or subordinate to, or it supports all of them at the same time, and they're pegged in a sense to gas and the complexity of the token type and the contract message details.
So let me suggest that there's a middle ground. All of the tokens at the same time is too hard. but 3 tokens is reasonable. Right, so if we were to do, you know, something like Bitcoin, Ether, and another token, that's not all of the tokens listed on Poloniex, but it's something that can be done.
Well, right, but in a sense, these are all new tokens, and the promise is for a conversion event or a clone event. Anyway, I just, the word native token is not setting well with me, but I do understand the intent behind it is to promise to provide value for amps or a clone of amps. So that makes sense. The intent makes sense.
Oh, I see. No, you're right. You're right. Amps will be, so that's actually worth stating. Not amps per se, but
A conversion of amps or clone.
right. Yeah.
New amp.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
Would it be accurate to say to you would give AMP token holders a chance to jump chains? Is because you're jumping from Omni to rchain, right? Similar to what NXT did with Ardor, they jumped from NXT to Ardor.
Yeah. Exactly. So amps will be converted to a native token, new amp on rchain under the condition that Scenario has a board and reasonable model, and will be given a 6-month lead for the on conversions for other tokens, AG, ATC, ETH, etc.
Classic.
If Scenario demonstrates a path to community
Governance.
Community governance, exactly.
Yeah, I think this is an excellent negotiating point. There's a lot of leverage behind this statement.
Cool. Right, and I was up all night, basically making this clear to the community. Okay, so I'm going to put this ahead of deal is concluded. So we have who judges the milestones. What we want to say is who judges the
completion.
Yeah. How about I just put milestone acceptance?
Yeah.
Cool. So that is heading 2. rchain proposes Vlad Zamfir on Bennett Vitalik and Omni representative chosen by Craig Sellers to evaluate milestone acceptance. How's that?
So is it a majority of those, or is it does it need to be unanimous? And we talked about having a community oversight of having a community opinion during that process.
Thank you. Yes, good idea. Thank you. This is all great stuff. Additionally, we propose to have a period to collect community opinion. All right, so
maybe a 1 week period, and 3 out of the 4, you know, that are actively in the role or something like that.
So should this be unanimous, or 3 out of 4?
I would say 3 out of 4 would be fine.
Okay.
It's the bigger issue probably if somebody abstains, what happens, but.
Should we have 5 then?
That seems like a lot to.
Okay. Yeah, it's a longer process.
I was thinking of 3, but I mean, this is fine. The shape of this is fine. I just trying to remove ambiguity.
No, I agree. I appreciate all of this. This is great feedback. All right. So.
Isn't the 5th the community?
Fair enough.
Hard to collect that vote, but yes, that's a great idea. It's a great spirit.
That's a great idea. Evaluators will be given a 1 week period. Assess acceptance, and 3 out of 4 positive assessments constitutes acceptance. But I don't want to say that if I want to include Jim's idea. All right. So what we want to say. With a signal, with a voting mechanism, TBD, this constitutes the 5th evaluator.
And tiebreaker.
Right, and tiebreaker. Is that sufficient?
I think for practicality of gathering that, you'd name an individual such as Jim or HJ or Christian as the collector of that vote.
Okay, with a representative.
Yeah, but it's because otherwise, you know, we have to invent the mechanism. A named representative, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Good.
Okay, great. Funds and escrow. Entire 1 million USD will be placed in escrow. Okay, so that gets rid of this governance. I think since we know that rchain is going to be a co-op, or at least that's the proposal, right?
Right.
So hang on. So I need to go and put. So here we have. This is heading 2. So. What's the better phrasing? Basically, I want to put everything else under like other objectives.
You could say intentions if they're not binding.
No. But this is like I'm kind of we have. Well,
yeah, we can refactor it later, but let's capture the word under other. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I just was going to put this all under but maybe that's the wrong approach. I'll just get rid of that. So then this would go up to heading 1, and this goes up to heading 1. And this goes up to
I just saw this amps will be converted. It's really not a conversion. It's like a clone or a given utility as a native token, right? The amps on Omni are going to remain forever.
No, they have to be burned, I think.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it. Okay, that is a conversion. Fair enough. Well, so then I'm sorry to nitpick on this, but it's important. It's helpful to nail this down now. You could say holders of amps will be provided an opportunity to convert their amp to blah blah blah, because this can't be done centralized then. Thank you.
That's good. That's much better. Okay. So let's see. Let's put the deal is concluded. So I think with respect to portion of amps, let's do that one first. Or should we just split it down the middle?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, so there's a scenario has an amp treasury. So how about we go? Yeah, I just think split it down the middle. rchain is provided with 50% of the
And how would this be? Would this be apportioned out along the same percentages of the milestones?
right, exactly.
I would say technical, community, and business development.
Okay, thank you. Very good. to be apportioned out in percentages. Reflecting the milestone. What's the right language here?
Percentages and timing correlating to the milestone payments or something like that. And timing. Yeah.
Okay.
And then this also is this escrowed, or is this controlled by scenario limited?
No, this should be escrowed.
And in the case of a USD, you know, there's lots of escrow agents that are capable.
Yeah.
Any attorney, but in the case of AMPs, I'm not sure that's this needs to be specifically named, such as Craig Sellers or someone else that's, or multiple people that are trusted.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. With so that's Omni Foundation, right? With multi-sig wallets,
Multi-sig and Omni are challenging.
I understand, but it's possible.
Yes.
With the signatories being the evaluators?
Yes. Or the set of evaluators, yes. Got it.
Okay. So
just so people on the call understand, I think there's no, you know, commercial multi-sig wallets, but you can set up that type of a structure and do manually created transactions. I think it's a little tricky, but possible.
Coinbase does a multi-sig vault.
You can do it with partition keys.
That's a good point, Jim. That would be probably better, you know, Shamir secret sharing partition keys or something like that. But someone needs to sort of start that process. Yeah, it's hard to do in blind. Yeah, there's I think that was Joseph talking. Yeah, there's a lot of multi-sig options, but not in Omni layer.
cool. All right, so that's good. That's done. So there was I accidentally dropped I dropped one of the headings by accident here. I don't want to roll back too far. Okay, so I'll come back.
Look at the history if you're uncertain.
Yeah. So let's before we do best alternative negotiated agreement. So that's.
I'm not sure that belongs in this document at all. It's just a concept. Well, I guess you could state the intent that, you know, if this agreement isn't accepted or negotiated, then here's what is the intent to happen with rchain or yourself, Greg.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it belongs in here. But.
Well, I guess what I would suggest is best alternative to negotiated agreement, and that would be Vlad Zamfir's proposal.
with respect to the AMP.
Yeah.
Providing value to AMPs. Okay, but I mean, there's several aspects of BATNA. There's, I guess, on every one of these bullets, there's sort of a list of things that are intended to happen. This is actually really interesting, Vlad's proposal. Can you elaborate a little bit on it?
Well, I was hoping to bring him on board and see if he could elaborate. Let me see if he's around. Because there were a couple of points that I didn't quite get until he clarified for me.
But it's very intriguing.
Yeah, so let's see. Okay. Okay, so we have that.
So would the idea of this coin split be that holders of AMPs could convert to, let's just call it our rchain token for the moment. They could convert to rchain token ahead of when everything is ready to go into production, or only after that time?
Yeah, so that I think there's wiggle room there. I think that it depends upon what you want to, how you want this to be tilted. Like Vlad sees this. Vlad pointed out to me that he sees that they should never be converted one for the other, for example.
Right. So a one-way.
Yeah, exactly. And so it basically creates two treasuries, one of new amps and one of our coins.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the most clear, I guess, way to vote. I mean, I don't know how you do it completely completely one way, but certainly, you know, you could easily create a token on Omni layer now,
Yeah,
and start accepting.
Well, the thing I thought about that is that it's actually not fair because, for example, I haven't touched, I mean, I have no holdings in amps, right? And I promised never to touch my founder stuff until after rchain is working. You know, but I think I constitute someone who's pretty invested in the project, right? So I can't even vote. Right, so Vlad's proposal assumes a kind of distribution that's roughly equivalent to interest, which isn't the case in many regards. There are lots and lots of speculators out there, and there are lots and lots of people who are, you know, very supportive of the project but don't have holdings in amps.
Yeah, this needs a little bit more time, and you know, the same issue with any crypto coin project or token project is making sure to avoid the how we test that it looks or smells like a security in any way. Is challenging, and so this needs some thought.
I agree. Okay, so I'm gonna. So the following topics are not in this agreement.
It could be negotiated separately or something.
Right. Meredith's position in scenario. So that's one. What else should be the not? Anything else that should be out of scope specifically?
I don't know if this says out of scope, but I'm just curious. Have we looked at refining which milestones or what they'll be composed of?
No, I was going to circle back. I'm just trying to get the whole thing kind of.
But that will be included. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just trying to revamp it exactly.
Mm.
Cool. Well, we've got about, 24 minutes left. What's the best way to use this 24 minutes? Well, we can go back over the milestones. I mean, David Curran's beautiful picture is nice. It's a little bit generic in the sense that just like divides these all in half, and that's not really how it's going to happen. But it gives people a kind of a kind of rule of thumb.
Conceptualization.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, some of this stuff we're well ahead on. Like at this point, I can kind of do the Rolang RoVM myself in my sleep, but I won't. The reason I don't want to do that is because that will be the period in which to grow the team.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So one of the things that's been the biggest challenge, and I don't know if people understand this, is that I spend a lot of time just working all on my own on Special K. And what happens when you work on a code base just on your own is that then other people find it difficult to enter, right? And coding, as we know, has become a social process and is more and more a social process.
Yeah, and that would, but honestly, it being a social process, it would make documentation and specification just easier once it is finished, right? If it's already designed for other people.
Well, I kept hoping that others would come forward and sort of, mention, hey, there's no documentation in your milestones. There's no QA in your hiring. There's no, right? These things are not mentioned at all. And I was hoping that people would go, oh, wait a minute. And so that we would see that, as a proposal, as lean as this is, it's still too fracking lean.
Yeah.
It's still too lean.
In terms of hiring and hiring developers Q&A, I mean, that can probably be left out given that rchain will have an independent governance structure, right?
Yeah, right. So, but what one thing we can say to mitigate some of this, I would kind of put it here. This is, I see what's going on. Here, I want to insert a page break. And here, I want to say, risk factors. And this is section 2. We want to say currently keeps currently documentation and QA have not been fully accounted for in the budgeting. We hope that this can be addressed through community engagement, and that it becomes a core part of community development and coherence. Okay, so that's sort of what we talked about last time, as I recall it. Anything else? Anything else we want to?
What about because there was an issue before with the level of nuance at our conversations concerning the state of the software, specifically Special K, was not sufficient. Would it be helpful to provide a background on specifically what you believe the state of the software is, or an organizational description, a project description, in evidence of the problem that you want to solve and the solutions, and kind of your account of the state of the software, maybe.
Yeah,
If it's necessary.
I think that's a separate discussion. This is really just about budgeting. I don't think we, I mean, we laid out we laid out the case for rchain in the rchain architecture document. Right?
Yeah.
Joseph, I posted a question on Slack just now about that, so we can follow up on Slack in great detail.
Cool. All right. So,
we're making specific requests about the scenario architecture. I'm just wondering if something shouldn't be disclosed or mentioned about the rchain governance structure.
Sure. Okay, fine. That's fine.
I don't know if it's necessary. It may be, it's just a thought.
No, I'm totally fine. So. Just trying to think where to put it in here.
Well, the way you
I guess I put it right here. So just right here. So this is rchain corporate and governance structure. rchain will be a Washington State cooperative. This provides a clear model for community governance that is created with corporate governance. And has a long track record of success. 1 second here. Puget Sound. Well, from PCC to REI. Okay, do I need to say more?
No, I think that's good.
Cool.
I think that, saying that, in essence, what you're requesting a scenario, you're also
right
embracing.
Exactly. Correct. Very good. Okay. Anything else? Or are we coming in under time and under time budget for Christian? Is there anything else burning? I mean, this link has been available now for other people to comment on for quite some time.
Actually, we did not have comment ability.
Oh, well, it looks like Ian did. Maybe that's weird. Okay, I'll make the. Let's just do that right now. Anyone with the link can comment. That's what I got here. Okay, so. So I'll put that over here. Oh,
was I in the wrong document, maybe?
No, it may be that I gave out the link from different Okay, so I'm going to put this in general for now. So there's that, and then I'll do the same thing over in scenario net. And community. Okay, cool. So there's that. Okay, so I'm open for further comments. Anyone want to? We could do further risk assessment. We could.
What do we have for risk assessment? I wasn't here when that was.
Well, I mean, we did risk assessment in terms of the resourcing, and then we looked at IP as a risk. One of the biggest risks that's been on my mind a lot, and we didn't talk about this last time, is there isn't a proper corporate entity to receive the funding from the investors I've been talking to. I think they're going to want a for-profit entity to hold that. So that needs to be that needs to be addressed. And I mean,
People, investors that were just thinking in terms of rchain or including.
Well, the original proposal and what they were totally excited about was an rchain scenario lively gig mix.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they were excited about.
Lively Gig is a for-profit entity that's also not contracted under either.
That's a possibility. That's a possibility, and yeah. So that's definitely worth considering.
Okay. Cool.
Anything else? Any other risks we want to look at, or have we kind of we've done this one?
I can't think of anything else at the moment, but I'll comment on the doc if I do.
Sweet. Well, I think this is great work. Christian, I will rejoin your interview to listen in. I have to go get some coffee. I pulled yet another all-nighter this week and haven't even properly had much breakfast, and I haven't had my coffee. So I'll rejoin after I grab a cup of coffee.
Sure.
Okay, sure, yeah. Yeah, those who wish to stay on for Augur are welcome as long as you respect Tom. And so we'll cut it off here for the rchain. Thanks, guys, for coming on through and helping with the budgeting. So, yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Later, guys.
Awesome. Talk to you soon.